walking in, there's a vibe that's set, right? And then when you get to the barn doors and the doors are open and you hear the sound of Zydeco music coming out, that old rustic Zydeco sound, and kids running around laughing and playing and adults dancing and socializing, that's kind of like looking into a glow ball, right? Into the way it was in the past.
Glad to have you. I'm Carter Simino, host of AcadianaCasts Presents. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram at Acadiana_casts on Instagram, I believe. You'll search it. You'll find it if you search it. AcadianaCasts. We're making great content coming your way, and I'm excited to do this episode. This episode is going to be a little different, though, because it was originally recorded for another project, and then it just made sense to make it an AcadianaCasts Presents episode. So we're promoting Paques In The Parc on April 19th at Vermilionville. A great celebration, family-friendly event that's, playing the game Paques that we're going to talk a little bit about, because I didn't know how this game worked, being from Covington, Louisiana. We never played Paques. We're more of an egg toss family. But also the musicality that's going to be at this event, some of the staples in Zydeco and Louisiana music, and we're going to talk all about that with some of the organizers of the festival. But to kind of make it make sense, I'm doing this little intro just to kind of preface, there's going to be some things that sound like it's coming from a different platform, Love of People, which is we originally recorded for, but instead, once again, AcadianaCasts Presents, but we're going to be talking with our friend John Williams from Love of People, the executive director of that nonprofit. They're big supporters of AcadianaCasts and them as well. And we'll just kind of talk about how this all kind of came together, the connectivity. So we'll hear from the organizers of Paques In The Parc and, of course, John Williams, Love of People. So bear with us. It's kind of a little jumpy all over the place, but it's great conversation, great events they're going to learn all about. And let's get to it right now, our first conversation with Dexter Ruffin. So I'm happy to have Dexter Ruffin here with us today talking about Paques In The Parc on April 19th?
April 19th, Saturday, April 19th.
Saturday, April 19th at Vermilionville. Now, Dexter, real quick, let's just get right into it. What is Paques In The Parc?
Well, Paques In The Parc is a brainchild of a couple of friends of mine that I grew up with in Lafayette, Louisiana, Keith Sonnier and Corey Glaude. Basically, those guys got together to do something in the community to bring awareness to our culture and also try to implant or give back to the community in the way of sharing that culture with the kids so they can carry on traditions.
Yeah, so a part of that, and we're going to get into the musical side of the culture, but also a big cultural thing, which I wasn't aware of growing up in Covington, Louisiana, is this Paques event, which explain what Paques is to those.
Yes,
I guess everyone in Acadiana probably already knows what it is, but help me.
Or either know what it is or have done it and never realized it was called Paques, right? So there's a lot of French and Spanish stuff that we've lost through time. But Paques is basically balling an egg and having a egg breaking contest. So I would have an egg, and my friend may have an egg, and we'd hit it. There we go. Let's do a little example.
These are fake eggs.
Oh, these are fake eggs, but especially boys, we challenge each other, right? So we'd hit it, and whoever cracks the egg first. If I crack your egg, I win. If you crack my egg, you win.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have to go from the pointy side or the thick side?
Well, the way I used to do it, I would use the pointy side because the pointy side was no, you can use anything.
Okay.
But that was my cheat. My cheat was using a pointy side because that was always the hardest balled part.
Okay, and then you have someone hitting you from here.
Yes.
You got like a direct launching point.
Absolutely.
Right
Yep.
Okay.
Massive force.
So how are your Paques skills? I mean, you said you got this cheat code over here.
Well, it's been a while. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Show the kids what's up.
Yeah. I have the belt. So I'll see if I get dethroned on Saturday, April the 19th.
Yeah, so it's a seasonal event with Paques and the eggs, around Easter.
Right.
But back to what you're talking about and keeping the culture alive and bringing it to the next generation. What do you mean by that? The culture is musical.
I mean musical. I mean just the heritage. I mean a blended community. Mm-hmm. What I've found, not living in Acadiana for a while, is that how unique our community is. And even for spending some time in the New Orleans area, that is completely different than Acadia. Keith is a musician, and he's been a Zydeco musician for years. He's made his living doing that way. He's traveled all over the world. He and I just have an appreciation for wanting to share that with kids, especially.
So, in living in the New Orleans area, you know, outside of like maybe going seeing at the House of Blues every now and then, or maybe like a pop-up festival, you don't get as much Zydeco that you would out here.
No, and if you get it, it's even though we have artists from Lafayette, but when it's in New Orleans, it feels more commercial. But until you really understand the roots of Zydeco and what it is, and I guess as we get older, we tend to think a little bit more, and then appreciating what Zydeco really is and where it came from. Yeah, I feel it's like really important to share that with the next generation.
So there was a part of your life in moving to the New Orleans area where you kind of got away from that culture, and only being away from it and seeing it again is kind of what reignited this for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know how good it is until you're away from it, and then you meet other people that appreciate it, and it's like, wait, I'm from Acadiana. Why do I not know this? Or why do I not know that artist? Or the significance of this music? So basically, what intrigued me, I'm kind of a history buff. What intrigued me about Zydeco is that it was formed in the early 20th century, and it's a fusion between Creole music and Cajun music. And I think that's a theme, because unlike a lot of other communities around the country, when you come to Southwest Louisiana, you see the blend. You see people that have struggled together, loved together, partied together, had a good time together, and ate together, living harmoniously amongst each other.
We're truly a gumbo.
Absolutely a gumbo.
Is there tomatoes in this gumbo?
No tomatoes. No wieners. None of that.
What about potato salad?
In the gumbo.
In the gumbo?
Yeah, you dip it. You dip it in the gumbo. That's how you can tell.
Yeah, some people are a little weird about putting the potato salad in the gumbo.
Yeah, but if you're authentic, you got it, bro.
Well, man, speaking of authenticity, you know, it's, you guys at Paques In The Parc this year, April 19th, you're gonna have Horace Trahan, Gino DeLaFose, and Chubby Carrier. But in the past, you guys have had Wayne Toops, Rockin' Doopsie, Rusty Matoye, Matois, sorry, Rusty. Jamie Badgeron, Lil Nathan, Travis Mott, Pine Leaf Boys. Like, it's a really who's who of Creole Zydeco music. And so if y'all's goal is to get people excited about the culture, I mean, you've got the musicians for it.
We have the musicians, and greater than that is their characters and their souls. Mm-hmm. They're always willing to lend a hand and work with us in our nonprofit in order to spread our culture.
And okay, so let's say I'm going to go to Paques In The Parc. I've never been, but for the first time this year, walk me through what my experience is going to be like when I kind of walk into Vermilionville that day.
Well, first and foremost, the backdrop, Vermilionville. Vermilionville instantly brings you back to old Acadiana and what it was like during the early 20th century, right? So walking in, there's a vibe that's set, right? And then when you get to the barn doors and the doors are open and you hear the sound of Zydeco music coming out, that old rustic Zydeco sound, and kids running around laughing and playing and adults dancing and socializing, that's kind of like looking into a glow ball, right? Into the way it was in the past. So I think that's what you'll see, but more importantly, that's what you'll feel.
And, you know, for the families that go, for the kids, you know, why is it so important to kind of catch them at a young age, getting them involved in the culture?
Yeah, that's super important, because having lived the life that I've lived, going back, some of my fondest memories have been listening to old music that my parents was listening to. Our song will come on the radio from Oldie and Goldie, and I'm whistling it and didn't realize I knew the song, because it was embedded. So that's what we're trying to do. We want kids to go out there and have a good time with their Easter egg hunt and the Paques Park. But in the backdrop is the sound of our ancestors, right? And those kids going to carry that with them. And then hopefully one day they'll, one, reinvest in the culture. And then secondly, if they get removed like I did, they'll come back home to it.
That's beautiful. And now, despite, you know, only 2 hours away, you still kind of felt this loss. But, you know, I read this stat a few years ago, and I've just been regurgitating it. Who knows if it's even true anymore, but I like to believe that it is. That Louisiana leads the nation in the amount of people who were born here who still live here.
Really.
Why do you think that is?
Uh, the connection, man. I mean, I've probably said this a couple of times, but there's no other place like Acadiana in Louisiana. And especially for me, I'm a sportsman, so I love to fish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hunt so much, but I love to fish, and I can't get that anywhere else in the country. Yeah.
You a saltwater or a freshwater guy?
I'm a saltwater guy.
All right.
Started out as a freshwater guy. 3 o'clock in the morning, my grandfather dragging me to Henderson. We digging worms the day before. So those are like some of the things. Just going back again, digging the worms the day before, preparing, and actually going execute and fishing in the back with the backdrop of the swamps and the birds and the alligators and whatnot. And then you're throwing out Cajun music, man, Cajun and Creole music. That is Louisiana.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. We'll be back to the episode in just a little bit. But like we said at the start of this episode, we're bringing on John Williams, friend of the show. He's been on here before. John, this whole Paques In The Parc thing, I want to ask you first, what have you gone to it in the past?
Yeah, I did. When they did it at Park International, I was there. I think it was the first year.
Yeah, like 3 years ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And how did this? Like I said at the beginning in our intro, this originally was we're going to make this under Love of People, but I think it makes more sense to bring it all together under AcadianaCasts Presents with that Love of People nod right here in this part of the episode as well. But so how did this kind of relationship come together?
Well, Love of People is all about helping others help others. And with Dexter and also Keith, whenever I saw their passion for this project, that's really how we identify people that we try to help. And with Keith, Keith, he's been a loyal volunteer for Blue Monday Mission. He's helped in a lot of different ways, playing music and everything. And then specifically when he told me that his purpose, with some of his purpose with Paques In The Parc, was to highlight local musicians. Between the passion for the project itself and just how much their purpose aligned with Love of People, it was just a natural fit for me.
Yeah, and we're just about to start talking with Keith Sonnier right after we're finished speaking. What can you say just as from his musicality as a drummer?
Oh, man. Look, Lee Allen, Zeno, and Keith, Lee is already identified, that's the pocket, Keith, his career speaks for itself. But what I like about watching Keith play and listening to him play, he's very good at the cues the things that I've learned from Mr. Lee as a bass player, what he said about being in a band. Keith resembles that to the T. He's more focused on the lead singer and making sure that, he's being a platform for that lead to stand on and create the pocket. Whenever he and Lee are playing, you can tell Keith is taking them licks from Lee, and they're feeding it to one another. He just has a beautiful ear, and he can sing.
I didn't know Keith
can sing. He can sing.
I wish I would have known that. I should have asked him.
He can sing.
Well, he's also got a great heart, and we're going to talk more with Mr. Keith Sonnier right now. Check it out. We're here now with Keith Sonnier. Fantastic drummer. I've got the pleasure of watching and working with him with the Blue Monday All-Stars and some of the other events that Love of People has been a part of. But he's here also talking about Paques In The Parc. Keith, what made you get involved in this event?
Well, first of all, we wanted to be known in the community for somebody that's representing Zydeco and Cajun music, and also for the kids to be exposed to the culture. And with them being exposed to the culture, hopefully it gets in their blood like it got in ours, and and longevity in it,
So it's so cool. You're using like a seasonal event like Easter and the themes of eggs and Paques to help grow the culture of Zydeco and music like that from this region.
Yes.
And all while having a great time for a good cause.
It's for a good cause.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Why is it to you so important to keep this culture vibrant?
Well, as you know, everything evolves, and one of our purposes is to preserve the original style of the music and the older style of the music versus everything. It's going to a nouveau style and it's evolved, and a lot of the kids don't know where it come from, where it started with the Clifton Chenier and the Rockin' Doopsie and the, what is my man name? It's so many great artists that Furnace and the Thunders is one that I was thinking of, but so many great artists that came before us that's it's almost extinct.
And obviously music, like everything else, like you said, it evolves, it grows, it changes, and sometimes for the better. Sometimes you're missing the how it got started. With Zydeco coming with this heavy blues influence, and then as it's expanded and evolved, it's kind of melded with R&B rap as well, which is, I guess, some of the new school type of way that you see a lot of cats doing. But what specifically musically would you define Zydeco as more the original?
I would as blues, as a little bit of jazz, but a lot of blues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just a 1-4-5,
a little rock and roll,
12-bar blues.
Yes, that's the original.
And there's also been a good bit of French influence in a lot of Zydeco as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like my father, I can say my father never really spoke English until he was 5 years old.
Wow.
Until he had to go to school, and then he had to learn English. And that's the thing with the culture now. And I'm kind of ashamed to say it. It's like I cannot speak the Creole French because when my parents were coming up, they spoke it to communicate among the adults.
Right.
And it's becoming a lost art. And we gotta some kind of way preserve that. There's still a few people speaking it, but not as much as it should be in this area.
Well, I've kind of seen it in doing this podcast and talking to folks like Drake LeBlanc or Jordan Thibodeau and people who are trying to hold on to that culture that Louisiana is so known for. But what I've seen over the past, it seems like 10 years, is there is a kind of a youth movement coming back into the culture and wanting to bring it back. Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen a lot of them doing it now.
That's got to be reassuring that it's kind of coming back in its own way, and with the use of the internet and getting information out, it seems like it's easier now to grow it than it was maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Right, and I'm glad to be a part of that as well. And that's the purpose of what we're doing now, to expose the kids to it.
With that being said, though, do you ever think dance halls will ever be what it was back in its heyday? Or do you think that's almost close to extinct?
No, I think it's a possibility if we keep it. There's a lot going on in the music now. We just have to keep everyone safe, and but it's a very strong possibility that it stays. It's going to be around a while.
Now back to Paques in the Parc. You guys have been able to get some great well-known artists who are the culture, and what's it like, maybe seeing a young kid, like they're kind of like light bulb goes off or their eyes open when they see one of these cats, like a Chubby Carrier laying down on the stage.
Well, I mean, again, that's the purpose of what we're doing. We team up with Pink Trailer, and they are doing a fabulous job in the community with the kids, and it's important to get them involved, get them playing. I can't stress it enough. I can't stress it enough. But it does my soul well to see it.
What is it?
Well, Paques is a contest. It's a old tradition that been passed down for years with the breaking of the eggs and stuff like that. So
do you boil the eggs?
You boil the eggs.
Okay. And so what is it? You're just taking an egg and you're tapping it to another person's egg?
Right. Normally the pointed side.
Okay.
That's the weapon side, we call it.
And how do you win?
Whoever egg cracks first.
Whoever eggs cracks first
is the opponent wins. If your egg crack, you lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like a certain technique to not cracking your egg? Like how much force are you putting into it?
It's not a technique. Some people may say they have it, but I don't think there's a technique to it unless you're cheating. Now, the cheating, some people would normally put nail polish, the clear nail polish, to give it a little extra strength or something. But yeah.
Okay, so so there's some like old wives' tales of
Right.
of how to
Right.
keep it safe. So is this something you grew up playing?
Yes.
At like family gatherings and
Family gatherings, weekends. Every Easter as kids, we would, challenge each other breaking eggs. And so, yeah, it's something I grew up doing.
it seems like such a Southwest Louisiana thing because I don't remember doing any. I mean, we did like an egg toss where like you have a partner, then you toss the egg, and if it cracks, then you lose. But we never did any of the Paques stuff.
No, the Paque's been around since I'm 55. So since I was a kid, as long as I can remember, it's been around.
So when you were a kid, who was the best in your family? Like who had the bragging rights?
Oh, it varies because it's all about the luck of the game and actually who wins. Again, if you're not cheating. Yeah.
Well, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right?
Right.
So Paques in the Parc, when did that start?
Paques in the Parc. Now this is going to be the third year that we're doing this, and it got started. Corey and I always did talk about doing something in the community, doing something with kids, doing something that's gonna impact some kind of way. And we were in a fraternity together, and it started as an Easter egg hunt with that, and that evolved into getting together with music and so forth. So,
And where is it?
This year?
Yeah.
This year is going to be at Vermilionville.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so y'all have music?
Yes.
Who's playing?
Chubby Carrier is going to be headlining, Gino DeLaFose, and Horace Trahan.
What a trio.
It's going to be a blast. Going to be a lot of dancing. We have a dance contest. We have Easter egg hunt. We're going to have the Paques contest, and we're asking everybody to come out with their boots on. It's the theme this year. So
Now you're a drummer, so you got great rhythm. What's the key to winning a dance contest?
oh, just being the best at it. It's very simple.
But I'm talking about like what's the best? Like is there a certain move? Is it just the je ne sais quoi, the
Man,
flow you got?
The dance now has evolved so much since when I was coming up. I can't do what the kids are doing now. So
That might be because of some of the age, but
that might have a lot to do with it. But absolutely, the kids, the way they dancing it now, they took it to another level. But everything evolves.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How has this event evolved over the past few years?
It's growing every year. We started out as a 2-day event, and I think we started out pretty large, and so we kind of toned it down a little bit to 1 day, and it's going to grow into its own thing.
And what does this event? Who does it go to help? Because I know there's a nonprofit side of it.
Okay, well, every year we change charities. So last year we worked with the Children's Museum and Pillars of Hope. The first year, Children's Museums again, along with St. Jude's. And this year is going to be different. I don't think we quite know exactly where we're going yet, but For the Love of People, absolutely, is going to be one of the charities that we're supporting this year.
Well, we're all about helping others help others. So, whatever we can do to help you guys get out there and get the word out.
Absolutely. I think our mission lines up. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with you've been a part of several Blue Monday performances and whatnot, playing with the Blue Monday All Stars. You were playing this past Blue Monday, and so you've kind of seen the connectivity that Love of People has in the community.
I do.
And it's cool to see you guys doing similar things and wherever, it's not a competition. We're all trying to help people, right? So whatever we can do to bring each other together and lift each other up.
Common goals.
Yeah.
Common goals, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And as a drummer, whenever you're at an event and you see the likes of Chubby or Horace, Gino, do you ever get antsy whenever you're not playing?
That's when I want to dance.
Yeah, okay.
That's when I want to dance. I actually was dancing before I was playing. I've been playing 30 years, so that tells you a lot.
Been dancing a long time.
But I've been dancing a long time. Started out with Zydeco Force and Bojack and Keith Frank, and that was my beginning.
That's awesome, man. Well, I think that's pretty good.
I kind of wanted to mention the 2 Grammys and kind of twisting it in there some kind of way. But I think I'll let Dexter mention that.
Okay.
And, I think the vision of having the kids see and come the purpose of the Easter egg hunt being them being around the atmosphere and being around the music and adapting to the culture, and that brings it all full circle.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, if someone is watching this and they're just now hearing a Paques in the Parc for the first time, what would be your message to them?
Come out and support it. Come out and support it. It's a great cause. It's about the music. It's about the culture. Come out and support it.
All right, one more quick break. Talking with John Williams from Love of People once again. Got one more, finish our conversation with Dexter Ruffin, talking about Paques in the Parc. John, in your opinion, why should folks support Paques in the Parc?
I mean, it's a family-friendly event. And in today's world, when you have an opportunity to come together for some beautiful purposes, but as a family, that's what we're all about here at Love of People. I mean, enough said.
I was at Paques In The Parc recently, and Wayne Toups was headlining, and I love seeing people in my age demographic, older, young, some younger, but it's mostly an older crowd event. But you see just from people in their 60s to people in their 20s enjoying Zydeco or Zydecajan and just the culture that Wayne Toups is certainly a part of. And I love that one of the missions of Paques in the Parc is for families and parents and the older generation to share that with their kids. Yep. I know that's as someone who brings their kids all around and a lot of the Love of People stuff that we do and getting them involved in service and whatnot, you're obviously trying to give the culture that you love to them as well, and they're kind of trying to do the same thing.
It's just bridging those gaps between ages, races, and everything, Again, with Paques in the Parc, their purpose is to have a family event that serves a purpose. And Vermilionville being a great, a place of history, I think it's a great opportunity to really show the true value of Paques in the Parc and what Keith and Dexter and, all the partners that are involved in helping it be a success. I just think it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Now, real quick before we get to our final bit with Dexter, there's more connectivity that's been going into this. We had a Blue Monday jam coming up a couple weeks ago, and we had this practice the week before, and you were meeting with Dexter.
I'll tell the story, man. And this is what makes all that, Love of People, but under Acadiana, like this is why it makes sense, really, because of that story. Because had not AcadianaCasts done this for Paques in the Parc, they never would have heard this part of the story, So, yeah, we had a meeting. I had a meeting with Keith and Dexter about what Love of People could do to help them and for Paques in the Parc. And the Blue Monday All-Stars happened to be rehearsing. And then I guess one of the partners, one of the guys said, Dexter can sing. And I'm like, I'm thinking in my head with a last name like Ruffin. I mean, it'd be a shame that he couldn't, And I'm like, well, come on, D, let's go. Well, it turned out he hadn't been on a stage in like over 20 years.
Wow.
However, and that goes a lot to say about, the character of these men that are involved in creating this event. Dexter hadn't been on stage in over 20 years. And here he is, learns 2 songs. A couple of days later, Blue Monday, got on stage and performed those songs, beautifully. And that, again, is what Love of People, helping others, help others is about. It's not that, Dexter owed Blue Monday or Love of People anything by doing it. One, it's a passion of his. He hadn't been able to do it in a while. So we're like, well, let me help him do that, And in that, it gave us good content to promote Paques and even gave us a story to talk about. And it even brought you in.
Right.
And your resource through AcadianaCasts to help really promote Paques in the Parc, and we appreciate it.
And then you have what we got to use to promote it afterwards. But at the jam, the people who were there got to hear about Paques in the Parc as well.
Yeah, I mean, love of people helping others help others, you know.
I love it. Well, before we get you out of here, John, appreciate your time as always. Is there anything that Love of People is doing, working on that you want to plug while we got you?
You know, we just opened Rocksteady Boxing at Bustle Up. You can find more information on our site with that. We're really excited about Blue Monday returning at Grouse Room every month. And we are gearing up for our 10th annual Williams Bros Diaper Drive coming up soon. So, and some beautiful partnerships like with Unitech that are happening right now. And I'm just really excited, man.
Well, you can go to loveofpeople.org to learn more about how to get involved, what we do, our events, our initiatives, all of that. Contact us. The Bustle Up thing, it was cool this morning. I saw that the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, their Facebook page, followed our Facebook page.
Oh, nice.
I was like, all right.
We win it.
We're moving up in the world. John, love you to death. Appreciate you. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you for everything.
All right, let's get to the end of the conversation with Dexter Ruffin, wrapping up our talk about Paques in the Parc. It seems that there is this kind of youth movement happening within Cajun and Creole culture that we haven't seen in the 90s or 2000s. It really feel like it's coming from the youth. A lot of people wanting to get back into their roots and figure out like what makes me, like what's my identity, what makes me Cajun, what makes me Creole. Do you see any of that from the youth? I mean, obviously you guys are creating events so that we can continue to keep this culture alive and vibrant. But do you see any organic authenticity coming from the youth as far as the old culture goes?
I actually do. I see that Zydeco is morphing. Zydeco Cajun music and Creole music is morphing. And why I see it is because I have 3 daughters, and I live near New Orleans. And they're playing boots on the ground. And they're playing some of the new artists that are out. They're starting to infuse some of the rock and country and R&B and rap into Zydeco music. So Zydeco music lives at its core, but is growing and is attracting other populations or other.
Do you think it can do both, evolve into something similar but different, but also keep the originality the same?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and that's why I think it's important, like the bands that we have. They're more traditional bands this year. So I think it's important to preserve the roux, so to speak, right? The roux always has to be the roux to the gumbo. So we're not buying no artificial roux. We're going to make the roux. Making the roux is true Zydeco, right? So we can play with the other stuff, but we need to be based and founded in the culture.
No jar roux over here, huh?
No jar roux, dude. We're gonna burn the roux.
No mass-produced roux.
That's right.
Come from these guys.
Right.
So Paques in the Parc, April 19th. Give me the details, time, place, all that.
Yeah, Paques in the Parc. It is Easter weekend, so Sunday is Easter. It's going to be Saturday. It'd be a great time for families going to be in town. We hope that they invite their friends and relatives from out of town to come to Paques in the Parc. Again, on April the 19th, we're going to have 3 bands. First artist is going to be Horace Trahan, followed by Gino DeLaFose, and then we're going to close it out with Mr. Chubby Carrier.
And does it cost anything to go to this?
It does. It does. Kids 10 and under, or they get in access free. And over is $20 at $15 now. The tickets could be purchased on Eventbrite, and $20 at the gate.
We'll have all that information on Eventbrite in the description of this video. Go check that out here on this YouTube channel. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you think folks need to know about?
Well, not really. Well, yeah, there's a couple of things I would just want to highlight.
Sure.
Family, community. We build together and we live together, or we go down together. Culture holds us together. Is the glue that binds Acadiana. Is our culture, our music, and our food. Also at the event, we're going to have the Paques, as we talked about. We're going to feature a new and upcoming band, Zydeco group there. We're also going to have a dance contest called Boots on the Ground. So we're going to have a dance contest towards the back half of the program.
Are you entering the dance competition? Or are you a judge, or what's going on here?
I'll be a judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I saw you grooving the other night on the Blue Monday stage while you're singing a couple songs.
I tried, man. Yep. That was a box I needed to check off, and I thank God they gave me the platform to do it.
Man, what? Just a little sidebar. What is it about? I always say, like, you could throw a stone in any direction into Acadiana and you'll find a great musician.
That's right.
What is it about South Louisiana and
we're bred that way, man. Yeah, we're bred that way. We listen to great music coming up. We're constantly whistling or singing, so I think we have this natural rhythmic vibe to us in Southwest Louisiana.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. So yeah, Paques In The Parc, Holy Saturday, April 19th. Get on down to Vermilionville. Be a part of the culture. Be a part of the future, the past, the present. And of course, I imagine there's gonna be some great food as well.
Excellent food, yes.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about jambalaya. We're talking about red beans and rice. Yeah, we're talking about we might have some gumbo.
Okay,
that's right. We'll start that roux at 12 midnight. And by the time the doors open at 12, we'll be ready to roll.
Is there a prize for any of these competitions?
Yeah, there's going to be a monetary prize for the dance contest. Right now we're working with a partner, a sponsor, to see exactly what that's going to be. But in the past, I think it's been $200 or above for the dance contest.
To wrap up here, Dexter, like I said at the beginning, love of people. Our slogan is helping others, help others. Where in either y'all's organization, this event, do you see that slogan and you guys kind of aligning with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we're in the building phase of bringing in youth. Next year when we do this event again, by the way, this is our third year. But next year when we do this again, we're going to bring in an advisory board of high school students to walk through the process with us, to show them how we put a festival like this together. But even more importantly than that, show them how to serve the community, and then at the end have an event like what we're going to have that's going to celebrate the community. That's
awesome. Because, like in high school, people lament all the time about, I wish there was more like life skills classes, like how to change a tire or how to do your taxes. Well, in South Louisiana, we should have a curriculum about how to run a festival.
That's right. That is right.
And how to give back.
That's right. And how to give back. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's awesome. I think that truly is helping others help others.
Yeah, and that's the goal. And also with our nonprofit, we want to partner with other nonprofits, and hopefully those kids, that advisory board, will be a part of that also. So I think the more hands on deck, the more positive things we can do in the community.
I'm going to do something that I do on my show, AcadianaCasts Presents, but we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to get you to look right at that camera right there, and this is going to be you talking directly to the folks in Acadiana and internet world at large, a final message about Paques In The Parc that you would like to give folks? Maybe a family, got young kids looking for something to do Easter weekend.
Absolutely. Well, what I would say about Paques In The Parc, this is my first year being involved with my partners. Very excited about it. I'm so looking forward to bringing my girls. I hope you bring your family, your kids. We're going to have Easter baskets for the kids, a lot of dancing, just hanging out together as one community, enjoying what our ancestors built in our Zydeco music and in our food.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the show. Since you made it this far, might as well give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, whatever you got to do to alert you that there's a new episode out. Look, it helps us grow, and it allows us to give you the content that, well, you deserve. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a guest, if you just want to berate me, hey, all goes to the same place. info@AcadianaCasts.com. Email info@AcadianaCasts.com. And for more locally sourced podcasts, go to AcadianaCasts.com. Bye.